The elevator doors slid open with a cold mechanical whisper, revealing a man slumped in the corner, clutching his chest. That man was Daniel Carrington, billionaire CEO of Carrington Tech, one of the richest men in America. He was gasping, pale, drenched in sweat, and alone. No assistant, no entourage. Just him and death knocking loudly. Rosa Evans, the night cleaner, had just finished wiping down the 42nd floor bathrooms when she saw him. The man she'd only ever seen from a distance, whose name was etched on every building plaque and company press release, now looked like a lost child in a $5,000 suit. She dropped her mop. "Sir, are you okay? Can you hear me?" His eyes fluttered open. He tried to speak, but only managed to press something into her hand before passing out. It was a card. Not just any card. A matte black Centurion Amex, the kind only billionaires and royals owned. Rosa stared at it, stunned. What the hell? Minutes later, sirens wailed through downtown Manhattan as the paramedics rushed Daniel to the hospital. Rosa had called 911, flagged down security, and even tried CPR until help arrived. He survived. Barely. Doctors said if she'd found him even 3 minutes later, he would have died. A heart condition, undiagnosed. Stress-induced. The kind that kills you quietly while the world thinks you're invincible. 3 days passed before Rosa saw him again. She was back at work, scrubbing the same floor, assuming the whole thing had been a surreal blur. Then came the call from HR. "Mr. Carrington wants to see you." Now. She hesitated at the door. Not because she was afraid, but because she had no idea why someone like him would remember someone like her. When she stepped in, he was standing by the window, looking out over the skyline. Thinner, tired, but very much alive. "You saved my life," he said, without turning around. "I did what anyone would have done," she replied, her voice steady. "No, Rosa," he said, turning to face her. "I've spent my life surrounded by people who would have stepped over me if it meant making their morning meeting. You stopped. You cared. That card I gave you. I thought I was dying. I didn't give it to you because I wanted you to buy anything. I gave it to you because it was the last thing I could give anyone." There was a long pause. Then he smiled. "But now I want to give you something else. Not out of pity. Out of gratitude." He handed her a folder. Inside, full tuition for her daughter's college. Rent paid for a year. A full-time position in the company. Not as a cleaner, but in the community outreach program she'd quietly volunteered with on weekends. Rosa was speechless. Why? He looked at her with something she'd never seen in his eyes before. Humility. "Because you reminded me what it means to be human. And I've forgotten that for too long." Weeks turned into months. Rosa thrived in her new role, helping families across the city find jobs, education, and shelter. She brought compassion to the sterile walls of a corporate empire. Daniel, now recovering and on a lighter schedule, began spending less time in boardrooms and more time in community centers, often showing up unannounced with warm meals and winter coats. One evening, as they closed up a holiday donation drive together, he said, "You know, Rosa, you didn't just save my life. You changed it." She smiled. "Maybe that's what we're here for, just to look out for each other, even when no one's looking."